This is Cheryl for Bayer's Pampers Stampers. Today I want to show you some techniques using some brand new embossing powders to the shop. They're made by WOW, and wow, are they cool. First is a set called Dappled Effects. It's got dappled coral, dappled peach, and dappled pink in it. They're gorgeous, gorgeous colors, kind of hard to see in the jar. But I'll show you a project with them in just a minute. Dappled means they're not a solid jar. If you look closely in there, you can see there's a mix of lighter color in there, which gives it a great dappled effect. So that's just going to be fun to work with. Also from WOW, we have these great new polished embossing powders. So it's polished gold and polished silver, and they are gorgeous. Here's a couple of examples here. Gold here, silver here. Gorgeous, gorgeous look and effect. Almost the look of foiling without foiling. Very, very cool. You can simulate the effect of mirror card, and I'll show you that in just a minute using the embossing powder. So much fun. And then the last one is the opaque, bright white, ultra high embossing folder. And that gives you a result like this one up here. A very bold, thick result. This is compared to just a standard white embossing powder. So you can see this one's thicker from the get-go. I didn't have to go over that twice. Sorry, I didn't clean these off very well before I embossed them, so you can see where I had some stray powder and stuff like that. But you get the idea. Much bolder than the standard. Can I use it in every situation? No. This is not going to work for really detailed things, but oh my goodness, great results for snow and things like that. So that's the ultra high white. So let's look at some projects that I did using these we had a chance to use the products at a recent virtual trade show, and it was just kind of fun. And I'm going to have separate videos to show you how to do all these projects so you can get the techniques yourself. This one was done using a foil adhesive, so this is score tape. The secret in this is getting whatever your tape is, make sure it's heat resistant so that it doesn't just curl up and fall off in the heat. But that's that ultra high white embossing enamel combined with a little foil, solid foil stripes in between. And how cool did that turn out? Again, look at the shine on that polished, sorry, you're seeing the shine on the foil. I'm talking about, look at the shine on that ultra high white though. Just a really cool look there. This next one, again, uses score tapes. This is the 3 Dappled Effects powders. So here's the coral, the peach, and the pink. Look at the color variations in those stripes. How cool is that? Look at this background. Kind of looks like I put a sheet of mirror card underneath to layer it. But no, that's that polished silver embossing powder. So all I had to do was heat emboss about a 1/2 inch in along the edge of my standard white cardstock. And look what happened. I get this great border, layer this over the top. It looks awesome. The butterfly is done, I believe, with the dappled coral with a little bit of silver sprinkled in. So if you haven't thought of it before, mix your embossing powders too. It's kind of fun to do that. The next technique, again, a lot of fun. Notice the butterflies first. Again, the top one, we have the solid, I believe, dappled coral again. I like that color. And so you can definitely see the color variation on that butterfly. Behind it is a butterfly that's heat embossed with that silver. So how cool is that? On the background card, we started out with one of the dappled powders and built the other 3 on using different things to hold it in place. So the initial one, I used the standard embossing ink. I used Versamark. Whatever you have will work. Second layer that creates these cool bubbled effects is another product from WOW called the WOW Mixed Media Embossing Brush, and it carries Seth Apter's name because he's the designer that used it. But you don't have to be Seth or like Seth to use it. It gives this really cool bubbly result. So I'll show you how to use that. And then the third way we added was just using plain old water. As long as you can get the embossing powder to hold on to your card long enough to heat it and melt the powder, it's good to go. So plain old water did the trick for the third color of the dappled powder. And they're all here. They all look cool. The last color kind of looks a little like water droplets. But again, we'll look at that more closely when we do the technique in a separate video. And last, and my absolute favorite, is one they call double embossing, and I'm kind of going to call it triple embossing. We started out with plain white cardstock and brayered on Versamark to get full coverage on my card here. And I just did an ombre of the 3 Dappled Effects powders. So I started with the darkest, middle, and light, bottom to top. So I ended up with a solid, excuse me, cardstock that way. Then once that is heat set and ready to go, you spray lightly the back of the card, run it through an embossing folder. So this is an Altenew embossing folder, Whimsical Bouquet. Absolutely gorgeous. Let that dry for a minute, because remember, we wet the back. So use your heat tool if you want to speed that up a little bit. But once you get that out of the embossing folder, you simply brayer over the top with more of this embossing ink. Then add the silver or gold. There you're going to want to brush off any excess stray powders. You can see I've got some here and here and here, which kind of add to the character of the card. They're not bothering me by any stretch, but I did take off some bigger chunks that I didn't like so well. But then you heat it again. This one you're going to heat a little bit carefully, because obviously when you heat it, your original powder is going to also melt, so you don't want to let it melt too much. But again, you get this great effect, the enhancement with the polished silver in this case, but it could be gold. And how cool is that technique? So they're super, super simple things to do. Great powders to work with. Again, the Dappled Effects are gorgeous. What makes them gorgeous is the color variation within them. You'll want to shake them up before you use them. Mix that up really good. Excuse me, you'll also watch how you put it out on the paper. If you just kind of dump, you're not going to get the same effect as, for example, and I'm just going to grab a sheet of plain cardstock here to show you. So give me a second to just clear this work surface a little bit. So just plain cardstock, pretend that's got embossing ink. Again, I'm shaking this up, and anytime you let it sit and settle, you want to shake it up again. But if I just dump powder on versus if I just shake it this way, you can achieve stripes and striations and colors and that sort of thing. So you want to play with it a little bit, experiment, get the look that you want with your embossing powder. But again, these are so, so cool. Again, looking in that jar, you can see the color variation in there and how cool that's going to turn out. So stay tuned. I will have 4 more videos. One will show you how to do these techniques. One will show you this one with the score tape, including this little border edge and doing a butterfly with combined colors. We'll do one for this one, which will show you how to use the high loft powder in conjunction with transfer foil. And last but by no means least, we'll show the double emboss technique. So stay tuned, Lots of fun to come. Thanks for watching. Bye.